Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So we're going to be talking about Wilson Pro Staff today, and I'll discuss a little bit of the history and why it had to change. Got my man Angus here, my pro staff expert, to talk about this. All right, guys. So we've talked about pro staff before, but I called in Angus to talk about why Wilson had to change the pro staff in, I don't want to say recent years, but I feel like it's been 8, 9, getting close to 10 years when a pro staff was taken out of its traditional origins and had to grow up and evolve. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the original pro staff, which was that thing right there, 85 square inch head, right? But in the original form, they actually made a 110 version, and there was also a 125 way unknown version that was out there too, in its thin beam form. So they were thinking even back in 1983 that, oh, maybe somebody wants a bigger head in this racket to make it easier to play with. And this version stuck around for a good long time, till 1989. And they really didn't mess with it too much. In version 2, Pro Staff 6.0, they named it differently though. Like no longer did we see mid-size, right? You saw Pro Staff 6.0.
Yeah.
Do you know why they did that?
It was some sort of like swing index, and I'm sure somebody in the comments could like fill in the gaps here, but there was a swing index that went from like 2.0 to 6.0, and basically the higher number, the more of a player's racket, the less power it had. I think that's why like a lot of the hammer rackets at the time had a lower number.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So Wilson developed an SI swing index, and then I guess they decided to just put a number on it. 6.0 is kind of on the softer side of rackets then, because there wasn't such a thing as a 10.0. I know there was a 7 something, so this was probably on the softer side of their racket range. This was probably when Profile was out, Hammer after that. So they put a number on it to tell you that it was on the softer side. But still, there's really no change, except for maybe a name and where it was probably made. That's China. So again, on our other video, we did St. Vincent and other great places, and then went to China. Okay. All right. 1992, things got a little interesting. They decided that, it was tough to play with these, and they're like, let's make it a little easier for the people to play with. And they developed a racket called the Pro Staff 6.1 95 Classic. It was wider, 95 square inch head versus 85. So I feel like that was the first stage, the first evolution to like making it easier for people.
Yeah.
Right. Was that the main reason?
I think that was the main reason, and I think that 6.1 line of rackets, they were also probably some of the stiffest rackets at the time.
Right.
As far as still falling within the player's racket category.
Yep. But that was the first time that they widened it and made it bigger.
Yep.
So they were looking forward into the future, saying, yeah, we can't do this forever. The wooden days, those little days, are starting to come to an end. The game is evolving. Okay, the game is evolving. But they did continue with the line though, which was, kind of awesome for the purist. I mean, they still had, remember that thing? Pro Staff Tour.
Yeah. This is the one racket that a lot of people wish they stocked up and they can't find it anymore. As a matter of fact, you can find one of these for like $500 on eBay.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. You sell that right now, you can make a lot of money.
Look, see, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Pro Staff, double braided, tour. Was there a name for this thing specific? It was just
No,
PS
it was
Pro
just Pro Staff Tour, but a lot of people called it the Tour 90 because this was the first 90 square inch that had the same specs as the 85 that was still 17 millimeters thick, same box beam design. They just made the head a little bit bigger. They made the mains a little bit longer to help it with a bit more power, because everyone knows that power is really dictated by the mains.
Right.
The longer string you have, the more of a trampoline you have.
Right. So, wow. So Wilson was still thinking ahead. Like they wanted to keep the box beam. They wanted to keep the purists happy, keep it thin, but increase the head size. So 90. So we're actually basically following the road of kind of like Fed. Because Fed actually did start with these, didn't he?
Oh,
yeah. So we had Sampras, Fed, actually before that, Chris Everett, Edberg, using these rackets. So the Pro Staff did evolve into a 90.
Yeah.
Right? Continued with a 90.
Yeah.
Still box beam, okay? Was the weight still the same on those?
The weights are always the same. They're always
12 ounce. Yep, yeah. You were right.
Unstrung 340 gram or 12 ounce. And they even kept the balance the same from generation to generation.
So we actually did have a little bit of evolution, okay? And then now they started going a little weird on us.
Yeah.
And they came out with a 95
yeah.
and made it real light. I mean, in my opinion, real light.
Too light.
And I didn't understand this racket.
I felt the same way. I tried it. Because there was a time where I felt that, maybe I can't play with a 90 forever. And I tried this 95 and it was just too light for the kind of racket that it was trying to be. Mm-hmm. And of course you can say, well, I can let it up. But at some point, when you put so much lead on a racket, you're really no longer playing with the racket. You're playing with lead.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it was way too light for most people. I wasn't sure who the target audience was for this. No, didn't make a whole lot of sense. They were trying to evolve it from a 90 to a 95 at this point, but they took way too much weight off. And, I mean, in my opinion, screwed it up. Yep. And then they even screwed it up a little even more when they did an S version. So why?
Yeah.
Why an S version, guys? Why? Anyways, I mean, but at least they kept the box beam semi-thin still. I mean, they try to keep it going. They try to find an audience still for where they were. But it wasn't working at this point.
No.
But 90 was still being made for Fed. And then, so was the other one though. So was 6195. So again, they didn't mess with this. 11.7 pretty much all the way through. Now, the time had come where 90 had to go. Wilson, to be truthful, I believe Wilson wanted to get rid of it anyways after Sampras, but because Fed was using it, they had to push it forward and keep it going. Actually, I don't remember if this got nixed first or if this got nixed first.
I think the 90 got the can first.
Got it.
They extended the 6195 maybe like another generation or two, but eventually they canned it and obviously they brought it back.
Right.
But yeah.
But yeah, so as soon as Fed decided that he was going to make a change out of the 90, like Wilson couldn't wait to get rid of it. So as soon as Fed said, okay, I'm done. I'm moving to this. I'm moving to this. This is my racket. This is first gen RF 97, 12 ouncer, right? Well, this went bye-bye, right? Right? No more. Look at the difference, guys. And that moved forward for one generation, then they nixed the 6195.
Yeah.
So got rid of 2, made 1. Now, why did Pro Staff have to evolve here? I mean, you went from an iconic thin beam racket to obviously that's thicker.
Yeah.
Although it's the same weight and balance.
Yep.
Why the evolution?
So, if I can be truthful here, I think it really depends on who you're asking and the player you're asking. If you're asking high level, I'm talking about like 4.5, 5.0s and above, and obviously tour player, they're dealing with shoulder height balls all the time. They're dealing with massive serves coming to them, and they're dealing with a lot less reaction time to execute a stroke. So it makes sense to have an equipment that has inherently more power than the older generation 90. So in that sense, it makes perfect sense for Wilson to sort of. It was a sad day for a lot of us when the 90 got nixed, but it made sense because the game was moving towards where topspin, swing speed was just, everything, right? So if you can add inherent power to that equation, it makes a lot of sense for the Pro Staff to sort of evolve into a bigger head size, thicker beam, and when you have a thicker beam, you can incorporate more stiffness without adding the weight, which obviously means more power as well. And also, like the mains, like I said earlier, the mains on the 97 is longer than the 90, so that again will give you more power. So it makes a lot of sense for a high-level player to sort of go away from the 90 and step into the 97.
And I felt like Fed was the last one. He was the last one holding out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, if it wasn't for Roger Federer, there wouldn't be 90s.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Because he kept it going, and he kept I felt also that he kept my generation going. He kept maybe 10 years younger than me going. So if you're essentially 40 years old right now, you know what this is, and you may have owned one because he kept us going on it. He kept us interested in the racket. So thanks to Fed, we had a generation or two extra of these guys. And even Fed admitted it to himself. He's like, if I would have switched to this earlier, we could have won a couple more slams.
I mean, obviously who are we to say no to whatever he says, right?
Right.
The guy's a guy when it comes to tennis. So, of course I would agree with him. Again, I really think that for high-level players, it makes a lot of sense to do what Wilson did, to go to a bigger head size, thicker beam, and you just get more inherent power from your equipment.
Right. So, yep, that's where the game's at now. It's more physical. Try to fight people off with a stick, right? Versus a 2x4 now, or more of a 2x4. It's just going to be easier.
It's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of people have tried the 97. Like some of my friends, they tried my 97, and some of them also are coming from the Pro Set 90s. A lot of their responses when they're trying the 97 is that, the 97 feels like Thor's hammer.
Right.
And it does have that feeling. I don't know why. I don't know how they did it. For some reason, the 6-195, even though the specs are quite similar, it doesn't have that sort of Thor's hammer feel.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I felt like this kind of had a dead feel. It's like it is missing something.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it, but it's missing the power.
Yeah.
I guess is the only word I can use that this one has. And I mean, we're fast forwarding to the 13 now to this one, and I still feel that the original is the best.
The original red and black one, it does feel different. It's definitely a little bit different than the more recent.
It's the
black.
paint. It's the paint.
Probably the paint.
It's the only thing I can put my finger on.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm not a fan of this paint.
Gloss it up, baby. I say gloss it up.
Yeah, I love the color, but man, it feels so weird in my hand. It feels like I feel like I'm holding an eraser.
Yeah. All right, so guys, that was the evolution of why Pro Staff had to change. Want to thank my man Angus for hanging out with me today and showing us the way with the Pro Staffs. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.
Oh, this could be it, Harry. Oh, Harry, great contact. Now, the idea, Harry, is we need it to land in the blue. I know you're kind of starting out here. Let's try it again, Harry. Somewhere in the blue space on the other side of the net. Harry, that's a great shot. I think you even hit it on the blue on court 3, Harry. It's okay. I didn't really specifically say our court. I just said blue. So, job well done. Let's try again. Keep it in our space on our court. Here it says number 1. Here we go, Harry. Give it a shot. Oh, Harry. No, I didn't say hit the number 1.
Want a coach with positive energy like Coach Rob? Find what your game is looking for at playyourcourt.com.
Oh, Harry, you swung and missed. I bet you can watch the ball a little longer. Try to keep your head still. Oh, Harry, nice try.